The 14th round of ABA League wasn't short on excitement. Duels in Laktaš and Sremska Mitrovica went into overtime. MZT and Cibona ended their string of defeats. Stefan Jovic iz Crvena Zvezda's leader this season meet the defending champions point guard. And we saved the best for last, top 5 plays. Welcome to ABA Magazine. Dušan Katnić is back in Igokea. Last season with his help, the team from Aleksandrovac became the champion of Bosnia and Herzegovina. After terminating his contract with Krka, Katnić signed with Igokea until the end of the season. At the same time, team from Laktaši parted ways with Nemanja Todorović on mutual consent, and the power forward returned to his former club Metalac Valjevo. So far this season, the 6'9" player averaged 5.6 points and less than 3 rebounds per game. Budućnost kept the first place in the standings after a visit to Novo Mesto, but the win was hard-fought. The task was much more difficult than the team from Podgorica expected, and the score at the halftime suggested. Budućnost started off with a 6-point run. Lalić kept Krka in the game, scoring the first 6 points for the home team. Both teams struggled to score from the distance, so the battle moved into the paint. With a number of fouls and free throws, the first quarter ended with the score 24-20 in the visiting team's favor. Budućnost took advantage of the home team's offensive miscues and, following a 15-2 run, gained a game-high 17-point lead. However, Krka managed to cut the lead to 11 at the halftime. Both teams struggled with the 3-point jumpers in the first half. Krka got only 1 out of 9 attempts, while Budućnost got 1 out of 6 to fall in. Surprisingly, it would be the 3-pointers that will spark a comeback from the home team. Third period started off with an 8-point run from Krka, and after a 3 from Kastrati, the home team took the lead 56-55. It was short-lived as Jaramaz answered with a 3 of his own. Coming into the fourth quarter, the score was tied 58-58. Krka let the opportunity to pull off an upset slip. Missed layups and turnovers were punished by Tadija Dragicevic on the other side of the court. MVP 2 weeks running put in an effort worthy of the title and led Budućnost to the 12th victory this season. After getting double-teamed, he assisted Sead Šehović for the 3, picked up only the second offensive rebound for Budućnost in the game that proved vital in getting the win. Luka Pavicevic's team won 84-78 despite hitting only 5 3-pointers out of 17 attempts. Dragicevic was the most prolific scorer with 20 points, Subotić and Jaramaz added 12, Sead Šehović scored 1 less, while Suad scored all 10 of his points in the first half. In Krka's third consecutive defeat, 8th of the season, Sinovec led the scoring list with 16 points. Crvena Zvezda triumphed 79-78 over Begalex in Sremska Mitrovica, Serbia. As expected, the derby of the round ended with drama. The two teams were neck and neck, and the defending champions needed an overtime to reach a 4th consecutive win. Dejan Radonjic's team was dominant in the first quarter and gained a double-digit lead with some excellent defense and skillful shooting from long range. The red and white team lost Marko Simonovic early in the game with a sprained ankle. Not for the first time this season, Dejan Milojevic's young team proved that they know how to fight back. Mega's defense became more aggressive and forced a number of turnovers, 25 to be exact. By the end of the first quarter, the home team managed to level the score. Led by Kaba, they even managed to take the lead at the beginning of a dramatic second quarter. At the end of the first half, Mega scored 7 unanswered points and left the court in the lead. The youngest team in the league managed to take advantage of the mistakes from their more experienced opponents. The team wasn't inspired by Kaba alone, but by Danilo Nikolic as well, as his three-pointers gave Mega an 11-point lead at the start of the fourth quarter. Quincy Miller played his worst offensive game in the red and white jersey, with 2 out of 13 from the field, but his tremendous energy on defense jump-started Dejan Radonic's team. Stefan Jovic led the offense with some good ideas, and the red and white team managed to take the lead. But Mega would score 5 unanswered points to take a 4-point lead with 50 seconds left on the clock. They were held without a point in a run by Tsirbes and Jovic to send the game to overtime. With 20 seconds left, Nikola Jankovic leveled the score at 78-78, but missed a chance to give his team the lead in overtime. This wasn't a great night for Luvavu, and 2 seconds before the final buzzer, he fouled Jovic, who scored 1 out of 2 from the line, for an important victory for Crvena Zvezda. Several players stood out apart from the point guard, who scored 15 points. Tsirbes finished the game with 20 points and 13 rebounds, and the young Rebic scored 8 points and added 5 rebounds and 4 assists in the final minutes. Top scorer for the losing side was Danilo Nikolic with 19 points. Alpha Kaba scored 4 less, but grabbed 12 rebounds, while Nikola Ivanovic added 11 points and 13 assists. Crvena Zvezda has a number of players to thank for reaching the top spot on the ABA League table, but none more than Stefan Jovic. This 25-year-old was part of last season's championship team. Let's hear more about his basketball career. My basketball path started off in 1998 with Bel Petrov. The team joined forces with Ergonom, and the following 6 seasons I spent with that team, becoming a national champion in 2005, the first and last youth ranks champion of Serbia and Montenegro. My path took me to Zdravlje Leskovac, where I spent a season. A return to Niš followed. I signed with a team that competes in the first B League nowadays. After that, 2 seasons with Sloga Kraljevo, 2 with Radnički Kragujevac, and now I'm in my second with Crvena Zvezda. It was 1998 when Stefan started playing basketball, and that same year Yugoslavia won the World Cup in Athens. Could he have dreamed he would himself play in a World Cup final in Madrid? Honestly, no, but that championship definitely influenced my decision to drop football. That is when I decided basketball would be the sport of my choosing. That championship definitely has a special place in my heart, and I'm happy it all turned out well. Jovic was always honest about being a huge Crvena Zvezda supporter. Playing for the team he loves is another dream come true. Of course, I would often come to football games with friends from my hometown. As a kid, I always liked brighter colors. It was a dream of mine to play for Crvena Zvezda, and that dream came true last season. It was an honor to be a part of a championship team that will remain in the history books of the club I love. He's in his 4th season of ABA League. Having in mind his experience, how does he evaluate the quality of the regional championship, and what does he think of the team in comparison to the last season's one? I would say the league had tougher competition while I was with Radnički, but even this season ABA League is in the Europe's very top in quality. When it comes to our team, compared to the previous season, a number of things changed. That championship team was one of the better in the history of the league. But I can honestly say this team, even though it struggled with injuries, still has a chance to repeat the success, even reach EuroLeague's top 16, a goal that seemed improbable.
Imali dosta I problema sa povredama I sa stranim igračima da eto ipak imamo šansu da ostvarimo ponovo plasman u top 16 fazu, što je za sam početak grupne faze prosto bilo nemoguće, ali eto, bez obzira na sve te probleme, pokazali smo i ove sezone da eto, jedna pobjeda nas deli od top 16 faze.
With the new season came his new role with the team. He has used extra time on the court in the best way possible. He is the team's second best scorer with 9.4 points per game. He tops the list in the assists, and he also broke the EuroLeague record in a game with Bayern when he recorded 19 assists. With the minutes came the confidence. This season I got more minutes and freedom on offense, the reason behind the 19 assist performance against Bayern. I didn't believe Cirbes when he told me I broke the record in the locker room. I think it's the key not only for myself but for the young guys as well to earn the coach's trust. We saw it a couple of times this season when the younger guys played so well in tough situations. That is why I believe the confidence the coach has in all of us and the minutes we get from it means a lot.
Sigurno da, eto, ne samo minutaža, nego i samo poverenje trenera mnogo znači.
Overtime was needed to decide the winner of the game in Laktaši as well. j.t.d would go on to record a comeback victory on the road against Igokea 91-86, the Croatian champions' 7th consecutive win this season. The home team held the lead for 38 minutes, but in the end was unable to end the 4-game losing streak. Igokea couldn't count on injured Vuk Radivojevic, but thanks to the excellent 3-point shooting percentage, gained a double-digit lead as early as the 6th minute. The team from Aleksandrovac drained 8 out of 9 3-pointers in the first half to gain a 12-point lead. The team that only 3 days earlier managed to secure a spot in the EuroLeague's top 16 found its mojo again through Bilan, Pulin and Babic. It was Pulin's 3-pointers that helped cut the visiting team's deficit to 5 at the halftime. With long-range shots taken out of the picture, Igokea was left to hold on to the lead with the help of the front court. Komatina and Radenovic turned into a dynamic duo in the paint with 11 assists. In the 33rd minute, thanks to Kesar, Igokea once again had a double-digit lead, but Cedevita answered with an 11-0 run through Pulin and Bilan. With 2 minutes left, the Croatian center gave Cedevita the first lead of the night. A very dramatic finish ensued, where we've seen it all. 3-pointers from both teams, referees analyzing the replay, and the overtime courtesy of Alexander Chapin with Igokea's only 3-pointer in the second half. There was no dilemma in extra 5 minutes, especially after Komatina fouled out, leaving the home team without a weapon to stop Bilan, who with the help of James White made a decisive series of points to give the visitors the unattainable 9-point lead. Miro Bilan was the game's MVP with 24 points and 11 rebounds, while Americans Pulin and White added 17 and 13 points respectively. They made most of their shots in the pivotal moments of the game, while Babic also stood out with 9 assists. The MVP of Igokea was Radenovic with 23 points, while Komatina scored 3 less with 8 rebounds and 6 assists. In the wonderful atmosphere of Pionir Hall, Partizan defeated Metalac 81-70 for the 5th victory of the season. This was also an opportunity for Petar Božic's men to get back at their rival from Valjevo for the heartbreaking defeat at the start of the season. Guests started off stronger, reaching an 8-point lead by the 5th minute of the game. The Black and White's efforts on offense were sparked by Jamar Wilson, who played another great game. Another game changer was their run of 3-pointers, allowing Partizan to score 20 points in the second period and take the lead. The home team kept the lead throughout the second period, but coach Vladimir Đokic's team never dropped behind by more than 8 points. Things were pretty much the same in the third quarter, which showed the weakest quality of play with few points and many turnovers. Partizan's victory wasn't sealed until the fourth period, when their constant pressure on defense finally paid off. Metalac had one more chance to close in with Kutlasic's lucky three-pointer, but a number of turnovers allowed Partizan to make a decisive run. The home team, led by Aranitovic and Wilson, scored 11 points and reached a double-digit advantage for the first time. Guests posed no threat until the final whistle, much to the joy of Partizan's fans. Petar Aranitovic was the top scorer with 17 points. He scored 3 out of 9 three-pointers for the Black and Whites, who had a 50% success rate from outside the 6.75-meter line. Other double-digit players were Wilson with 15 and the captain Marinkovic with 13 points. Edo Muric chipped in with 9 points in his return from injury. The most efficient player on the losing team was Nikola Jevtovic with 14 points and 10 rebounds, while Rakicevic added 13. Damir Mula-Omerovic's tenure as Cibona's head coach started off with an important win over the longtime rival Zadar. Injured Ante Žižić missed another game, but his older brother Andrija stepped in, looking rejuvenated, as was the rest of the team with a new coach in charge. Cibona attacked Zadar with his own arsenal in the first period. Aggressive defense with a lot of rotations and points in transition. Žižić and Jagodić Kuriđa dominated the paint, with team captain Rozic providing the points for the lead, 19-16 at the end of the first quarter. Three-pointers from Ante Delaš and Lovre Bašić kept Zadar in the game, when Cibona gained a significant lead in the second quarter, 31-24. Bašić led a comeback with a three to take the lead. A technical foul called on Cibona's new coach gave the visiting team a chance to cut the lead to 41-40 at the end of the first half. In the first half, Cibona's veterans took charge. Their example gave confidence to the young guns to display their talent in the second half. Mid-third quarter, down 48-47, Cibona's Jean-Marc Šiško missed both free throws, but made up for it with a three and an assist to Jagodić Kuriđa. Home team's pick and roll gave the visiting team headaches, along with Žižić's low post game, drawing a number of fouls from the opponents. Coach Nazor's team once again showed its fighting spirit and the ability to adjust on defense, sparking another comeback from the visiting team. With a three from Delaš, Zadar gained a 5-point lead. Krušlin went on a 5-point run of his own to tie the game for Cibona. The young and talented Krušlin assisted Žižić and then scored himself to give Cibona the lead. The veterans once again proved vital in a dramatic finish. Nebojša Joksimovic pulled down 2 offensive rebounds and then hit a 3 to give Cibona the lead for good. Jasmin Hukic put an end to Cibona's streak of 4 defeats, setting the final score at 74-65. Second consecutive defeat for Zadar came at the expense of poor three-point shooting in the second half. After scoring 7 out of first 14, the visiting team scored only 1 out of the next 11. The credits for the win go to Žižić with his 15 points and Jagodić Kuriđa, who scored 1 less but added 11 rebounds, 5 on offense. In the years past, ABA League featured not only the most accomplished basketball players from the region, but a number of European legends as well. Basketball fans in the region had a unique opportunity to see one of the all-time greats in action, the Greek master of the assist, Theo Papaloukas. Member of the golden generation of Greek basketball, former EuroLeague's MVP and the two-time champion, spent a modest 14 minutes on the court per game and still managed to display some of his magic that once brought him the title of the Europe's best player, ahead of the likes of Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol and Tony Parker. In the 2011-2012 season, he orchestrated the offense of Israel's most decorated club, Maccabi Tel Aviv, on 3 separate fronts, ABA League included. He seemed far away from retirement, even though he was in his 16th professional season. Papaloukas, who was born on the 8th of May 1977 in Athens, showed no signs of stopping as he poured in 13 points and 6 assists in just 18 minutes on the court against Zlatorog in Tel Aviv. With 9 assists, he masterminded an impressive win on the same court against Crvena Zvezda, 101-66. Serving as coach David Blatt's floor general, he led Maccabi to the first place in the standings with just 2 defeats in the regular season. Papaloukas dished out the 4th most assists in the league while playing 20 minutes per game less than the 3 better-ranked players. For the first time in the history of ABA League, the Final Four tournament was held outside of the borders of former Yugoslavia, in Tel Aviv. Maccabi beat Budućnost in the semi-final by 22 points and then Cedevita by 10 in the championship game. In Maccabi's second appearance in ABA League, 9 years after losing the final game in the previous one, the Pride of Israel won the championship ring. Maccabi was eliminated in EuroLeague's quarterfinal, but Papaloukas would add 3 more trophies to his name. The following season he retired as a 2-time EuroLeague champion, champion of Russia and Israel's elite competitions, VTB League champion and the proud owner of ABA League championship ring. MZT overpowered Olympia in the Janez Sandanski Hall 81-62, ending a string of 7 defeats. Aleš Pipan was replaced as the head coach of the only Macedonian team in the competition by his former assistant Aleksandar Jonchevski. At the end of the first period, after plenty of turnovers on both sides, home team was up by 3 points. With a quick run of 7-0 at the beginning of the second quarter, MZT reached a double-digit advantage, but the guests didn't hesitate to respond through the informed Sava Lešić. However, another string of mistakes by Olympia allowed the team from Skopje to take a 14-point lead into the second half. Having missed all of their 8 3-point jumpers in the first half, the guests didn't improve much on the offense after the break, and MZT was up by 26 by the end of the third period, which was also their biggest lead of the game. Home team held on to the convincing lead, but Olympia slightly closed in, cutting the lead to 13 through Lešić and Lapornik. In the final 2 minutes, most of the action took place on the free throw line, where Protic and Drenovac had success. The most efficient player on the winning team was Stojanovski with 20 points, while Protic chipped in with 14, while Olympia was led by Lešić and Lapornik with 18 points apiece. In the first game of the round 14 of ABA League, Typhoon defeated Sutjeska 61-15 Nikšić. Low scoring marked the meeting of the two newcomers to the regional competition. Visiting team handled it better and won deservingly in the end. Players from the Slovenian team confirmed that they are in top form with a 5th win in their last 6 outings, while Sutjeska, after this game, remains stuck to the bottom of the table. The game started off with a shot on target by Draško Albijanić. However, in the following 5 minutes, the visitors scored 13 unanswered points, led by Bratož. Coach Dušan Dubljević took the hint and asked for a timeout. After a short break, the home team found its mojo thanks to Pavličević. The period ended with the result 21-16. The second period was one of the most inefficient in this part of the championship. There were missed shots all around, especially by the home team players, who managed to score only 5 points. The visiting team did only slightly better, scoring 13 points. The result at halftime was 34-21 for the defending Slovenian champions. Later on, both teams leveled up their game, though the players of Typhoon were slightly better and led by 18 in the 4th minute of the third period, 40-22. In the 3 minutes that followed, the visitors managed to hold on to their lead, but at the result 47-30, Sutjeska made a 12-0 series and entered the last period down by only 5. Although the finish of the third period was promising, the fourth period was completely disappointing when it comes to the quality of the play. The most efficient players on the winning team were Čebular, who scored 16 points, and Bratož, who had a double-double with 11 points and 10 rebounds. Top scorers on the defeated team were Vranjes with 13 and Albijanić with 11 points. MVP of round 14 is Miro Bilan. Cedevita's center had another fantastic game and holds the most credit for his team's victory in Laktaši. Bilan scored 24 points against Igokea with only 2 missed field goals and a 91% from the free throw line, along with 11 rebounds, which was enough for a season record of 37 index value points. We start off our top 5 plays of the round review in Skopje. MZT has returned to winning ways with a resounding victory against Olympia. Drenovac made a memorable shot with a foul as an added bonus. Quincy Miller wasn't in his best offensive form, but he stood out on defense, blocking the shots of Aranitovic and Luvavu. We're still in Sremska Mitrovica. Nikola Ivanovic and Alfa Kaba deserved our third spot with their alley-oop. The game between Mega and Crvena Zvezda wasn't only the most dramatic, but also the game with the most memorable plays. Branko Lazic going for a slam dunk was without a doubt the most exciting. For the top play of the round, we go to Partizan's point guard, Jamar Wilson, with a fast forward run and a powerful dunk. That would be all in this edition of ABBA magazine. We're in for an exciting end of the year and 3 more rounds of the regional championship.